Just this week, Zoran Mamdani got elected mayor of New York and Dick Cheney bought the farm. But I want to talk about Barack Obama's speeches. If you're new to this channel, hi, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I want to know how the world works. I want to be fair, not partisan. So to get it out of the way, I would rather live under the rule of Barack Obama and the Democratic Party than Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Just like I'd rather eat a whole raw onion than cyanide. Obama tried to make some things better. He signed bills that temporarily somewhat improved things for some people, like repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell and admitting openly queer people into the imperial military. The problem is, Obama's also responsible for a lot of the shit going on that he claims to have a problem with. He's calling Trump out for practices that he, Obama, laid or strengthened the foundations for. Democrats applaud him when he makes hypocritical statements because they're an attack on Trump. So their memories fail them. This week, Obama appeared at a rally for the Democratic candidate for governor of New Jersey, and I felt compelled to address some of the points he made. He talks about ICE agents pulling people off the streets.
We got masked ICE agents pulling in unmarked vans and grabbing people off the streets, including U.S. citizens.
Yes, that is a big problem. It's a giant human trafficking operation at this point, justified by white supremacist ideology. But it didn't start with Trump. How many people did Obama deport? And how many of them got a fair trial? You would think he wouldn't want to draw attention to border policy given his record, but if the people listening don't remember, Obama writes his own history for them. He also correctly points out Trump is removing U.S. citizens. Obama killed U.S. citizens. First, he killed Anwar al-Awlaki. Democrats didn't care that he hadn't been tried or anything. Obama said he was a terrorist, and that was what mattered. A few days later, Obama killed his teenage son, Abdul Rahman, who was presumably a terrorist too. Anwar's daughter, Nawar, was killed early into Trump's first term, so Obama didn't have that particular pleasure. Now, Trump is calling pretty much everyone a terrorist because of Bush and Obama's policy of treating people however you want because you've called them terrorists. That's why Obama also grabbed himself and subsequent presidents the power to lock up anyone, anywhere, for any reason and hold them indefinitely in secret prisons without trial. If he just admitted he was partly responsible for any of what's happening now, I'd be able to say he wasn't totally full of shit. In a speech in April, Obama said, "Imagine if I had done any of this." We don't have to imagine. Just remember. Then he goes on to say the economy has been good for well-connected people like billionaires, but not for the rest of us.
The economy has been really good for some of Trump's billionaire friends. And it's been good for some finance bros and well-connected corporations who've seen their tax bill go down.
Well, those guys got richer under your watch, too. Richer and more powerful. He says Trump is enriching himself. Barack earns at least $400,000 per speech and has an estimated net worth of $70 million. He's part of the oligarchy now. He scratched their backs when he was in power. Now they scratch his. What other achievements constitute Obama's legacy? Obama ended the U.S. occupation of Iraq, but he also ramped up the war on Afghanistan and Pakistan. He developed the drone program and made it normal for a president to target civilians and everyone around them with unmanned killing machines, which Trump has taken advantage of. When I heard a U.S. drone strike bombed a wedding in Yemen in 2013, I realized this was another of the U.S.'s undeclared wars. Obama sold lots of weapons. He offered an arms deal worth $115 billion to Saudi Arabia, which it has used to turn Yemen to rubble. He also sold weapons to the UAE, which it also used on Yemen and is now presumably giving to the Janjaweed or RSF in Sudan to massacre Sudanese people, though there's lots of blame to go around. Because he was president of the United States, Obama also sent weapons to most of the states in the Middle East that repressed popular uprisings in 2011. Finally, Obama strengthened the domestic police state being deployed to the streets today. Did you know he prosecuted 8 whistleblowers during his time in office, including Chelsea Manning and Edward Snowden? Snowden revealed to the world that Obama was happily continuing to develop the US's systems of mass surveillance. Obama extended the Patriot Act. His FBI continued its entrapment operations. He let killer cops keep killing and violent cops brutalize nonviolent protesters. He continued the transfer of military surplus to local police departments, despite imposing some minor restrictions. Do you think Trump might be interested in using any of these powers? If you're feeling angry at the points I'm making, ask yourself why that is. Why does it matter if you like a politician? Why would you like and defend the things Obama or any other president has done? Why would you join his team? I can see grudgingly voting for him because the alternative is a Republican. But why cheer him on? If he had been anything other than the President of the United States, he would be considered a monster for the things he's done. But thanks to partisan politics, he's viewed as a hero. To his credit, I think Obama wants Trump to lose. But in his attacks on Trump, Obama rewrites history to pretend he's always been against everything Trump is doing despite being partly responsible. If you let the powerful rewrite history, you can't see the unbroken chain of oppression and violence that links every president. Each one grabs himself powers that subsequent presidents can expand or discard as they like. When you encourage one party to take power, you're paving the way for these powers to be used by anyone who takes the reins, including, inevitably, someone you hate.